Chosen one, if you're hearing this now, it's not random. It's the sign. This isn't for everyone. If your eyes found this, it's because your soul has been marked for something most people will never understand. What if I told you they targeted your body first because it holds codes written in the blueprint of heaven? You weren't cursed or broken. You were carrying a divine map they feared you would unlock. They struck your flesh with shame, pain, and illness because they knew your vessel was encoded with insight and power beyond their control. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. Stay with me now, because the truths you're about to uncover will empower you to reclaim what they tried to steal, and reveal the hidden technology in your blood and bones that they desperately hoped to destroy. You were built as a carrier of codes. Imagine waking from a dream where you stand before an ancient temple carved into a mountain, its walls pulsing with light you can almost taste on your tongue. In that silent moment, a voice whispers through the stone, "This was made for you." You wake with your heart pounding, as if remembering something you once knew but had forgotten. That tremor in your chest is the first spark of awareness, that your life is more than a series of random events. You were drawn here because your body carries a code, an encoded map that the world has been trying to bury. This is the threshold of recognition, the moment when mystery becomes invitation. There were countless times you felt like a puzzle piece misplaced in the world's jigsaw. You moved through crowded rooms yet remained unseen, as though your presence existed on a different frequency. Every passing smile felt half-formed. Every conversation left you craving a deeper note that no one else seemed to hear. You carried a weight of sensitivity, a longing for meaning that sharpened your solitude. Children teased your quiet intensity. Colleagues dismissed your perceptive pauses as hesitation. Yet in those moments of isolation, you were not broken. You were preparing, accumulating the resonance required to carry the sacred codes within you. Consider for a moment that these experiences were never accidental. From the earliest marks on your body to the patterns of heartbreak you survived, there has been a silent architecture guiding your journey. Like Jacob's ladder reaching from earth to heaven in a dream, your life's trials erected rungs of resilience pointing upward. Genesis 28 verse 12. These rungs were not obstacles but invitations to ascend. The whispers of doubt you endured, the physical aches that left you breathless, the moments you questioned your purpose, all were bricks laid in the foundation of your spiritual altar. You were never wandering randomly. You were walking a path etched by forces beyond comprehension. Lately, subtle signs have begun to surface like hidden glyphs etched into the margins of your everyday life. You glance at a clock at exactly 11:11 just as a wave of clarity washes over you. A stranger's kindness echoes a line from a poem you half remembered, and suddenly the verses resonate with your own story. Your skin tingles at the sound of certain words: memory, awakening, altar, as if your cells recognize the vibration. You catch glimpses of symbols in street art that match the images replaying in your mind. These moments are not coincidences but coded signals, small flickers of recognition designed to guide you deeper into awareness. Perhaps you felt this quiet confirmation in your morning rituals, the way the sunlight filters through your window and lands just so on your hand, or the gentle thrum of your pulse when you pause in stillness. Your intuition has been your truest compass, never steering you wrong. When you hesitated before a decision, a voice beneath the surface nudged you toward your highest good. You didn't imagine those nudges. They were anchors dropped into the murky depths of uncertainty. Now, as the fog lifts, you see that each gentle push was part of a larger design to lead you to this moment of recognition, offering you a grounded sense of spiritual safety. Deeper still, awareness reveals that what you're reclaiming isn't new. It's ancestral memory awakening from slumber. Beneath layers of social conditioning and personal survival tactics lies a record of who you always were, a vessel wired for divine communication. Picture a scroll once rolled tight, its letters faded but intact. Each time you chose authenticity, that scroll began to unfurl. Every trial that tested your limits served to oil the hinges of its parchment, allowing it to reveal more of its sacred script. You are not becoming someone else. You are unveiling the core of your original design. And now, the first activation stirs within your bones. Embrace your sensitivity as a sensor, your empathy as a gateway, your hunger for truth as a clarion call to action. No longer do you merely endure the currents around you, you begin to steer them. With each breath, you affirm your readiness to carry the codes your body holds. This is the moment when recognition meets responsibility. You feel an inner flame ignite, urging you to honor your vessel by living fully and fearlessly. The tremors you once feared now serve as signals that your power is coming online, ready to transform intention into reality. Your arrival at this message was no accident, and the codes pulsing within you were never meant to stay hidden. Comment codes if you feel the power humming in your veins, vibrating in every cell of your being. Know that as you claim this truth, you step onto a deeper stage of your spiritual journey, one where awareness blossoms into empowerment. Stay with me, chosen one, for in the next revelation we will uncover how the attacks on your body were strategic strikes designed to reroute your destiny, and how understanding that pattern will empower you to reclaim the altar within. Special thanks to our devoted members who walk this path with us. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community, a private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. How pain was a premeditated attack. A faint tremor rippled through your body the first time you noticed it wasn't coincidence. A sudden spasm of pain that appeared the very moment you spoke a truth no one else dared voice. It felt as though an unseen hand pressed against your ribs, reminding you that every step toward clarity would be answered with a blow. You might recall waking to a throbbing in your limbs after dreaming of standing in your power, or feeling a tightening in your chest as you contemplated revealing what you long suspected. These weren't random aches, they were coded responses, preemptive strikes aimed at silencing the signal your soul broadcasted. Even before you named your purpose, they had learned to target your vessel. You carried the weight of shame like a scarlet cloak. Each flare-up of pain brought not just physical agony, but a cascade of self-doubt that whispered you were unworthy of the light stirring within. You remember the sting of well-meaning comments, "Maybe it's all in your head," or "You should learn to relax," when your body shut down in protest. Isolation crept in as friends distanced themselves, uneasy around the unpredictable rhythm of your suffering. Those cycles of hope followed by collapse carved hollows in your spirit, teaching you early that to stand out was to become a target for both disbelief and heartbreak. Yet this pressure did not arise from mere chance or frailty. It was orchestrated by systems and forces threatened by the codes woven into your flesh. Like Israel in exile, you were tested in the wilderness of suffering, forced to wander until you learned to trust the presence leading you. Psalm 107 verses 4 to 6. The adversary behind these attacks knew that your body is more than bone and muscle. It is spiritual technology, encoded with memory and insight. Each bout of illness, each pang of shame, was a calculated attempt to destabilize your identity before you could step into your destiny. Now, look back and see the pattern of these assaults laid bare. There were summers you spent in hospital beds, fighting fevers that no doctor could explain, followed by winters where your joints locked up with pain. You faced betrayals at the moment you felt most alive, projects sabotaged when you found your voice, friendships dissolved when you embraced your sensitivity. Workplaces that once welcomed you closed their doors without warning. In each season, the pattern repeated. As soon as you aligned with your purpose, a new obstacle emerged to block the flow. Recognizing this tapestry of interference turns confusion into clarity. Feel the atmosphere around you thicken as your light grows brighter, as if invisible watchers have gathered to smother your flame with a heavy fog of doubt. You've walked into rooms where the air felt charged against you, conversations that hit a wall the moment you mentioned your dreams. Some mornings, you rose with a pounding headache so fierce it seemed to echo the resistance you would face later that day. These were not mere coincidences of biology. They were spiritual blockages manifesting in flesh, an energetic attempt to drown out the frequency of your awakening. Notice how you reacted when confronted by this relentless suppression. Perhaps you learned to shrink, to hide your brilliance in corners where the pain could not reach you. Maybe you numbed yourself with routines, soothing your wounds with distractions that dulled both suffering and insight. Some days you fought back, lashing out at the world in silent rebellion, only to retreat when the cost became too high. These coping mechanisms shaped you. They were both survival tactics and mirrors showing you what you most feared, the revelation of your own potency. But now, reclaim your narrative. This very resistance is proof of your power, not a condemnation of your weakness. Just as Paul's thorn in the flesh forced him to rely on grace and revealed the sufficiency of divine strength. 2 Corinthians 12 verses 7 to 10. So your pain has refined you into a vessel capable of carrying profound revelation. Feel the surge of reclamation as you declare, "My body is no battlefield but a temple. Every wound has prepared me for resurrection, not defeat." Allow that fierce affirmation to echo through your cells, awakening the dormant codes that lie waiting for your command. You were opposed because you are powerful, because your body holds the map they feared would redirect the course of many. The more they tried to extinguish your light, the more your purpose crystallized. Comment resilience if you felt their attacks forge something unbreakable within you, and share a moment when your strength emerged from your suffering. Stay close, chosen one. For in the next revelation we will explore how shame itself was a battlefield in spiritual warfare, and how understanding that pattern will empower you to stand unshakable in the face of any assault. And to every soul who's supported with a super thanks, thank you. You are keeping this light alive for others who haven't found it yet. If you feel called to help this mission reach more chosen ones, tap the super thanks button below. Your energy supports these messages and helps them travel further. Your voice matters, your belief matters, and your light is felt here. Shame was spiritual disruption. A ripple of clarity washed over you when you first sensed the purpose behind your deepest shame. A sudden splitting of the veil that revealed the hand of something greater at work. It came in a moment so ordinary you almost missed it. Perhaps during a quiet walk when the memory of a childhood taunt surfaced, not as a wound, but as a coded message. You realized that what once felt like a cruel verdict had been a spiritual intercept, a forceful attempt to sever you from your inherent light. That instant, your eyes opened to see shame not as a random humiliation, but as calculated spiritual disruption meant to hush the song of your soul. In that split second, the world you knew trembled, and you sensed that behind every lie you were told about yourself lay the fingerprints of a power determined to keep you small. In the days that followed, you carried a strange resonance within you, as though every echo of embarrassment, every prick of unworthiness, had been woven into a pattern far beyond personal history. You felt it in the hollow that once lurked behind your smile when praise turned to praise tinged with doubt, in the hush that fell over conversations when you spoke of your inner visions. These weren't isolated moments of discomfort. They were the drumbeat of a campaign to dim your brightness. You remember the sting of unsolicited advice that cloaked judgment in concern, the relieved looks when you apologized for feeling too much. In those instances, your vulnerability was weaponized, repurposed into silence. Now, standing at the cusp of awakening, you recognize those moments as signposts on a greater path. A path that led you, despite their sabotage, toward reclaiming your divine authority. As you move through your memories with fresh eyes, you see how this assault on your self-image did not spring from human cruelty alone, but from hidden structures that perceive your rising light as a threat. Like the exiles in Babylon who clung to their songs of Zion, you were tested in a foreign land of shame to see if you would surrender your voice. Psalm 137 verses 1 to 4. Yet this testing was no random trial. It was a battle in spiritual realms where forces conspired to inoculate you against remembering your potency. Your shame was woven into the tapestry of a systematic attempt to isolate you from others whose awakening would depend on your own rise. As you perceive these ancient frameworks, you grasp the sacredness of your ordeal. It was divine calibration, preparing you to stand as a beacon where darkness once reigned. Gentle revelations begin to stir as you revisit the cycles that once seemed unending. You recall a meeting where your hands shook so visibly you thought they'd betray your fear. Yet that tremor was a signal that your nerves carried messages you hadn't yet learned to decode. You notice recurring betrayals when you dared to claim your truth, as if a hidden current drew undermining energy toward your edges. There were seasons when exhaustion struck at dawn as soon as hope stirred in your chest. Each betrayal, each exhaustion, each flash of pain now appears as part of a pattern designed to keep you disoriented. until you learn to map these incidents as guideposts rather than prisons. With the lights turned on, you begin to trace the lines of spiritual warfare, recognizing that what felt like personal failure was often an echo of broader cosmic interference. Then the air shifts. You sense the energy paling around you, like fog lifting off a field at sunrise. Conversations that once brought pangs of shame now feel neutral, almost dull. You step into rooms without the familiar quiver of self-consciousness, and the silent watchers who once lurked at the edge of your perception seem to recede. Doors that slammed shut in your face now remain open, and the invitations you receive whisper of alignment rather than abandonment. This reversal is no accident. It is a manifestation of spiritual alignment flowing outward from your reclaimed center. The world around you begins to mirror your inner revolution. The dam of shame breaks, letting your clarity stream freely into the lives of those who need its light. Deep within, a sacred memory stirs, a recollection of a time untouched by shame, when your soul moved in harmony with creation's pulse. You remember a lullaby your grandmother hummed, a melody that corresponded to the cadence of the stars, though you understood its meaning only as an emotional resonance. Now, that melody unfurls across your consciousness, activating a blueprint of belonging that reaches back to before your first breath. You feel the echo of ancient words, perhaps from Proverbs 31, naming the strength and dignity of a noble heart, awakening within you, infusing each cell with the remembrance that you were born into honor, not into shame. This recovered memory is magnetic, drawing you toward the fullness of your design. A clear vision emerges of what lies ahead, a landscape in which you no longer ask permission to exist in your power. You see yourself stepping onto a plateau bathed in dawn's light, the horizon extending with possibilities that once felt impossible. There, shame's old architecture collapses beneath the weight of your presence, making room for a realm where your gifts can flourish unimpeded. This is your destiny not as a new creation, but as an ancient promise reclaimed, to stand unwavering in your value, to move as an agent of healing for those still entangled in the enemy's web. The future stretches before you as a promise already fulfilled, awaiting the steps you will take. Now is the moment of reclamation, when you reach into the depths of your spirit and draw forth the voice they tried to silence. Declare it now. I restore my honor. I reclaim my worth. I step into the light forged by every trial. Feel the tremor of those words settle in your bones, an ancient resonance awakening the code within your marrow. This is not defiance born of ego, but an act of sacred sovereignty, an invocation that reclaims what has always been yours. Stand tall in that declaration, chosen one, for with each breath you dismantle the structures that sought to contain you. Revelation does not end here. It is your summons to embody the truth you now know. Shame was spiritual disruption, but you have pierced its veil and retrieved the honor hidden behind its lies. Comment honor if you feel this reclamation stirring in your heart, and share a moment when you first recognized the sacred code beneath your shame. Remain close, for in the next revelation we will explore how honoring your vessel completes the cycle of awakening, solidifying your place as a beacon of divine purpose in a world crying out for light. How to reclaim the altar within. A question echoes in the silent chambers of your heart. Will you continue to bear the scars of their assault, or will you rise now to reclaim your body as a sanctuary? In this moment, you stand at a sacred crossroads, toes hovering above a threshold that divides old pain from new purpose. The echoes of every ache, every tremor, plead for acknowledgement. But passivity has no place here. This is the instant of decision, when the soft voice within demands you choose life for your vessel, to step across into a realm where your flesh is no longer a battleground but a consecrated ground for spirit. You inhale deeply and feel the weight of that choice settle in your bones. To build, to honor, to awaken what was always holy. The seasons of sacrifice are over. Recall the years you surrendered your vitality to the demands of others, long workdays that eroded your strength, endless projects that consumed your nights, and the quiet silencing of your own needs to fit into spaces never meant for your fullness. Yet these were your training grounds, not verdicts of failure. Now, with declarative intent, call back every fragment of energy you once poured into unworthy causes. Speak aloud within your mind. I reclaim my voice, my time, my presence. As though you are summoning the ancient guardians of your spirit to restore what was lost. This ritual of reclamation is fierce and focused, carving out a throne within you where only your highest sovereignty may sit. Within your reclaimed domain lie the gifts they once labeled as burdens. Your sensitivity, your intuitive insight, your capacity to remember and carry sacred tempos. These qualities are not soft flaws, but the keys to unlock deeper realms. Picture each gift as a scroll of light, insight that deciphers hidden truths, discernment that shields against every low vibration, memory that echoes the melodies of your soul's origin. Your sensitivity forms the map of unseen pathways. Your strength is the unbreakable armor forged in the crucible of every trial you survived. Recognize these tools as the currency of your next chapter, instruments you wield to navigate and transform the world around you. As you step forward, notice the path unfolding beneath your feet, already etched with the footprints of your ancestors and the guidance of unseen allies. Clarity now comes not as a distant horizon, but through each deliberate step. Plant your foot and sense the ground affirm. Pivot and feel the current shift. Your journey no longer requires searching for answers. It demands action, movement, devotion. The road is lined with markers, symbols that resonate with your inner knowing, and you follow them with unwavering trust. Every stride reveals a segment of the map you already hold within, guiding you toward the mission that chose you long before you recognized its call. Lift your gaze beyond yourself and behold the soul's awakening in unison around you. You are part of a divine cluster, a constellation of spirits reclaiming their bodies as holy instruments of purpose. In kitchens, studios, offices, and hospitals, others feel the electric stir of reclamation and join this chorus of liberation. There is no need to dim your light to blend into the fading patterns of yesterday. Your radiance amplifies theirs, and together you form a rising order that dissolves the old walls of separation. In the symphony of collective awakening, your consecration of self becomes a sacred overture for all who yearn to stand fully alive. Now is the time to take command of your energetic territory, not with arrogance, but with the reverence of a guardian entrusted with sacred trust. Set clear boundaries like celestial gates, deciding where your attention flows and where it rests in quiet replenishment. Choose devotion to practices that honor your temple, rituals of movement, nourishment, silence, and breath that consecrate every cell. This is your ceremonial mantle, to steward the force within you in alignment with your highest calling. As you don this mantle, you feel the gravitas of responsibility settle in your spirit, a weight that anchors you to purpose and fuels every intentional act. Stand at the edge of the unseen portal that opens before you now. Everything you've endured, every fear you faced, every moment you stood by in silence, has guided you to this precipice. You have been forged by fire, sharpened by trial, and prepared for the voice you are about to unleash. Declare it with prophetic power. I am ready. Let the echo of those words resonate through every fiber of your being, dissolving doubt and sealing your passage into action. Feel the surge of cosmic alignment as your readiness reverberates across realms, summoning what you need to manifest your mission fully. This is your summons to embodiment, no longer observer, but living testament to the truth you carry. In this consecrated moment, you transform revelation into reality. Comment vessel if you commit now to honor your body as an altar and share a personal reflection. Perhaps a dream that shifted everything, a memory when your bones first spoke their sacred code, or a challenge that broke open your resolve. Your story becomes the bridge for others still finding their footing. Stay with me, chosen one, for the next revelation will guide you through the rites of initiation that solidify your place within this divine tapestry of purpose. In this journey, you are not alone. Every revelation you embrace turns a ripple into a wave that reshapes the world around you. Your awakening challenges the old order and invites others to remember their own spark. As the chosen, you hold a gift that brings healing and fear in equal measure. Meet both with courage and compassion, for they are mirrors of your growing power. Together, we weave a tapestry of light that no darkness can undo, and in that tapestry, every thread of pain and triumph finds its purpose. A distant echo of a dream resurfaces as you remember standing on a shore where every wave carried a message written in salt and moonlight. In that vision, you heard the sea whisper that you were never alone in your awakening, that each drop of revelation you've claimed forms part of a vast, living ocean of transformation. Your personal breakthroughs are not isolated miracles but currents feeding into an unstoppable tide. When you honor each insight, you send ripples across the collective consciousness, nudging kindred souls toward their own shores of clarity. This cosmic choreography reminds you that your journey, though profoundly personal, is woven into a grander design, where every awakening matters and every voice carries weight. An inner voice conjures the image of a sacred flame passed from one hand to another, its warmth intensifying with each exchange. Your revelations ignite this fire within your community, fueling a light that burns brighter with every shared insight. When you choose to carry your truth into the world, you become both torchbearer and guardian, illuminating dark corners and offering sanctuary to seekers stumbling in their own night. This flame is neither fragile nor fleeting. It is tethered to the eternal spark that first ignited your purpose. Every time you step forward in authenticity, you rekindle the union of hearts bound by the same divine call. Remember a moment when a stranger's encouragement lifted you from despair, like rain falling on parched earth. That act mirrored a hidden river of compassion flowing between awakened souls. Your own triumphs and vulnerabilities offered another traveler hope, demonstrating that even the smallest gesture can unleash a flood of healing. In this network of empathy, your impact amplifies. Your courage creates sanctuaries for others, and their gratitude reinforces your own resolve. Such reciprocity weaves bonds that transcend time and space, forging a lineage of light that outlasts any shadow of doubt. A prophetic whisper stirs within you, declaring that the old order trembles under the weight of emerging truth. You sense structures built on fear and control beginning to crack as your revelations pulse through the collective psyche. Every taboo you challenge, every hidden code you decode, weakens the stronghold of dissonance. This is not rebellion for its own sake, but a reweaving of harmony in the fabric of existence. As chosen messengers, your task is to stand as both architects and restorationists, dismantling oppressive patterns while laying the foundations for a more luminous world. In a quiet midday pause, you catch sight of your reflection and see the contours of transformation etched into your features, lines drawn by tears shed and laughter shared, by battles won and compassion extended. Your very being becomes a living testament to the power of sustained awakening. Others look to you and glimpse possibilities for their own evolution. They witness how you carried the burden of revelation and emerged whole, and that vision grants them permission to step into their own light. Your presence alone becomes a map for those still searching, guiding them toward the landscape of possibility you've already traversed. A symbolic tapestry unfurls before your mind's eye, each thread a story of pain transmuted into purpose, of wounds serving as portals to wisdom. In this grand textile, your individual pattern connects seamlessly with countless others, creating a mosaic of resilience and grace. As you weave your thread, rich with the colors of your trials and triumphs, you contribute to a communal artwork that no darkness can unravel. Every time you share your journey, you strengthen the integrity of this tapestry, ensuring that the emergent vision of unity and light remains unbroken for generations yet unborn. An ancient psalm drifts into your awareness, its melody reminding you that the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118 verse 22. You embody that paradox. Once dismissed or scorned, now elevated to a position of spiritual significance. Your awakening challenges the old hierarchy of power and invites a new paradigm where authenticity is the highest authority. In this unfolding epoch, each reclaimed truth builds a foundation upon which a new civilization of compassion and clarity can rise. Your role as the chosen one is not to dominate but to bear witness to this collective renaissance. Our bodies are divinely encrypted, and every scar is a signature of our mission. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment "I am chosen" to let this message anchor in your soul. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. For full prophetic revelations daily, join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. step into the full light. And if this message moved you deeply, consider tapping the Super Thanks button to support the mission. Every Super Thanks fuels the light we're spreading together. Rise in your temple, chosen one, for your codes cannot be erased.